Hey everyone, it's Part-Time Video Gamer. I went back and forth about if I should make a Switch 2 video. It already feels like the Switch 2 has been talked about to death. And even preceding the Switch 2, we had so many rumors and so many leaks. And preceding that, there was all the stuff about the Switch Pro, which kind of turned out to be the Switch OLED. And it's just, we've been in a crazy amount of Switch rumor mill, I don't know, just absurdity for the last handful of years. And I honestly am just pretty done with it. I really love the Switch. I think it's one of Nintendo's best consoles. I don't know personally where I would rank it, but it definitely is an amazing comeback story after the Wii U. My current feelings about the Switch 2 don't do anything to discredit the Switch, but I just have this sense of, okay, so we're doing this again. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think Nintendo, this is probably the best move that they can make to just iterate on the Switch, give people what they want, a more powerful Switch. But in all of this, it just feels like there's a part of me that is just kind of feeling like okay about it. The excitement that I've had in previous console generations or even for Nintendo's own hardware, it just isn't there for me this time. And so I don't know if that's more of a me personal thing, just where I am in my life and how old I am versus, I don't know, I'm just the industry. There's a lot of factors that play into this. So let's talk more about the Switch 2. Honestly, you're getting some very unfiltered thoughts in this video, because besides one other friend who kind of keeps up on gaming industry stuff, I don't think I've actually talked to anybody else about the Switch 2, which is wild because you look at the video and you see how many views it got and you see how many people were talking about the Switch 2. And it feels crazy to me that in my day-to-day life, nobody has talked about the Switch 2. And, that might just be in, just where I work, the people I interact with day to day, my corner of the internet where I live and social media and stuff. It's like, it is a lot of gaming industry. So I hear a lot of it there. But then when you translate that into like my day to day real world, there's just not a ton of overlap. And so as hyped as a lot of people are for the Switch 2, I think a lot of my feelings are just kind of like, okay, so we're going to do this again. It's going to be a little bit more of the same. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I really think Nintendo is doing the right thing. I think they're making the right choice, just iterating on the Switch. And that's honestly what we've wanted for a while. Just a more powerful Switch so it can play more of the third-party AAA games, which honestly, given the current state of the industry, I don't know if AAA is going to be a thing by the time the Switch 2 comes out. More powerful Switch so it can play more powerful Nintendo exclusives. And that's basically what everybody wanted. Maybe a little bit more work going into the UI and different aspects, like the Nintendo eShop. It is slow rolling over there. But, maybe a little bit more sleek design in the system, which it looks like they're doing. Trying to do something to address the Joy-Cons. We'll see if we're going to be drifting in this next console generation. But honestly, it looks like they have taken in all the feedback that we have given them and basically done what we've wanted. I don't know if a lot of my lack of excitement for the Switch 2 kind of comes down to those factors of just where I am in my life. It's more of the same. I don't have as much time to play video games as I used to have. Like, I don't know what it is. I love gaming. I love Nintendo. I love their games, for all the different faults that the company has. But, for whatever reason, this trailer just kind of didn't do it for me. And maybe when I see more of the games, I will be excited. I think the other big thing with the Switch 2 is, like I mentioned at the beginning, the lead up to this was so long. It has been such a slog to get here. I mean, the original Switch came out in March of 2017, and basically, I feel like since 2019, people have been talking about a Switch Pro or a Switch 2 or a mid-generation refresh or something. And then obviously, you know, there was a lot of chip shortages during the lockdown times and all that stuff. And so, you know, all those rumors were like, oh, they were going to do a Switch Pro, but then it ended up becoming like the Switch OLED. And just like all of these different things, I just feel have like desensitized me to actually seeing this trailer. I mean, anybody who is in the gaming know, you follow the gaming industry, we all saw the system leak in like the previous month beforehand, especially the week before the Switch came out. You know, me recording this video, I think the official trailer has been out for a little over a week. The week that trailer came out, I think they revealed it on a Thursday. Basically from like Sunday up through their actual reveal, anything left, any secrets left of the system were leaking left and right. You had specs coming out, you had all the patents, you had third-party like Switch manufacturers like walking around trade shows with 3D printed Switch 2 models. Like it was wild. And so there really wasn't a ton of surprise for this. I'm sure all the people in Nintendo were furious seeing all this stuff leak like the week of the reveal. It's a very different time than it was in 2017 when Nintendo released the Switch than it is in 2025 and them releasing the Switch 2. And this is different. The internet holds no secrets. You will be found out if people want to find out something. And so all of this for me just kind of culminates in a like, we'll wait and see. You know, the most recent rumors now that we are post-reveal, official reveal of the Switch 2 is like people are leaking the different price points of the Switch. And I think that is something interesting because given the state of the gaming industry, given the state of, you know, here in the West, a lot of inflation and just lots of other things, I really feel like the price point could be a make or break for the Switch 2. I mean, I think the Switch 2 will sell. That's not what I'm saying. You know, like the PS5 sold, and honestly, you know, looking at things now, like, would I buy a PS5 again? Probably not. But, you know, it sold fairly well, despite not having exclusives, really. And so I believe that the Switch 2 will sell well. You know, there's no doubt in my mind. I don't know if the Switch 2 will have the cultural impact that the Switch had when it came out. And not because I think the Switch 2 is going to be inferior or there's going to be something wrong with it, but it was just at a point where the Switch was just like this really revolutionary thing. You know, nobody had really done this before. You know, in 2017, it was very much like there's the handheld gaming market and there's the home console market and there's the PC market. You know, the Switch in essence condensed two of those lanes of gaming. You know, you still have PC gaming, but handheld gaming and console home gaming, it brought those together. And, you know, once the Switch started to find success with this model of combining the home console and the hybrid, we saw lots of other people do it too. You know, Steam Decks, ROG Allies, like there's a lot of people who do this. And so in that regard, the Switch 2 is stepping into a different world where that is not a thing now. So Nintendo doesn't have the kind of like cool cultural revolution power of that, of this being very innovative in that sense. It's just, this is more of like, it's an iteration. It's the Switch 2. It's the same thing that you know, the same concept, and it's just going to be more powerful, which in Nintendo's defense, like I was saying, I don't think this is a bad idea. People understood the Switch so well, and it had such a cultural impact, and it has sold, you know, so it's like a beast. Is it tied for the best-selling console? Is it the best-selling console? I'll have to check my numbers, you know. I'm not looking up those research numbers all the time, but I just don't think the Switch 2 is going to do that, you know. I think they're going to have good games. I think it's going to be a good piece of tech. Like I said, if the price is right, people are going to buy it. People are going to buy it regardless. I'd love for it to be wildly successful and do the numbers that the original Switch did, but I just don't think that's the state of the world that it's entering into. You know, I think people will pick it up. I think it being backwards compatible is a huge thing. You know, I haven't talked about that, but that's a very wise decision in line with people know what the Switch is. They have their Switch libraries, physical and digital, and now they can just migrate all of that to the Switch 2. All their games still play on it. It's all good. You don't have to go through any of this brand confusion, which I am very thankful that Nintendo has learned and figured this out. They didn't forget the Wii to Wii U debacle of like, we'll keep it the same name, but basically change everything about it. And it's just confusion and people don't know what's going on. People really know what's going on. It's like, oh, this is Switch 2. Same thing, more powerful, some extra features, going to be cool. The one game that we kind of know about is Mario Kart 9 that they did like a soft reveal. Well, I guess we kind of know too. Mario Kart 9 soft reveal. We'll see. I think it's the best-selling game on this current Switch, so it's got big shoes to fill there. And then Metroid Prime 4, which has had a struggled history from when it's been announced to being completely stopped and restarted development from the ground up. But my guess is that will be a launch title game. As for other launch games, I don't know. Super Mario Odyssey came out in 2017. We haven't heard anything Mario-wise from that team. So could there be a launch Mario? That would be exciting. I'd be excited about that. There's kind of loose rumors about maybe a Donkey Kong game coming with launch. I don't know. I've seen a couple things posted about that, but I haven't actually read into them. So I don't know. Nintendo could surprise us. Could they bring back a dormant IP, give it some love? Maybe do Star Fox right and not have Star Fox Zero be people's last taste for that franchise. I don't know. They could do a lot of things. It'll be cool to see if they implement the little mouse function on the Joy-Cons differently. I was like, man, what could you do with that? It'd be very interesting. It needs to be the right type of game. I've seen people make an argument for something like a Mario Maker, like Mario Maker 3. That could be pretty cool, using the mouse to help design the levels. And the first thing that comes to my mind is you could do a Mario Paint, a modern Mario Paint, on the Switch too. That would be kind of cool. But again, that's going to be one of those things where I'm sure Nintendo will have some cool way to use that tech or something in it. And, maybe we'll find some of the other surprises when Nintendo does the full reveal in April, which feels like forever away. I really hope the console launches shortly after April, because to reveal it in January, to have to wait till April to get all the actual specs of can it do 4K, can do upscaling, here's the slate of games, here's all the stuff. And then if we had to wait till November, if they're oh, it's going to launch in this holiday season, it's going to kill the momentum. So I really hope they do something maybe a May or an early summer release. I know that would be kind of wild. Maybe even early fall. I could maybe hold off the release in August, but if they release it in mid-November, that is just going to be a killer. So that's really all I have to say about the Switch 2. There's not really a ton else I can add to this conversation. But yeah, I'd love to know how you all are feeling about the Switch 2. Are there rumors, things that you've heard that you're excited about? Are there any of the functionality things Nintendo has shown so far that you're that's going to be really cool? Are there games that you're hoping for, franchises to come back? Let me know. I'd love to know. Drop a comment down. If you're new, please subscribe to the channel. Fresh start here, getting going. But be dropping videos when I can. Just chilling, talking about video games. And so if you like this video, make sure to check out some of the other stuff I got coming. And I haven't actually figured out how I want to end all of these videos, so I gotta figure something out. Maybe I'll just turn around and pull a random game from my shelf, and then I have to play it or talk about it in the next video. I don't know. I know my organization too well. I'll know where to pull from. Let's do a Wii game. This one. Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles. We'll talk about that next time. Just kidding, probably not.